Hello, you're listening to episode 9 of the Early Parenting Podcast. In today's episode, we are getting stuck into the key signs that you're looking for when it's coming up time to introduce food to your baby. So listen on to find out what the signs of readiness for solids are. Welcome to the Early Parenting Podcast, where we help you navigate the somewhat tricky world of parenthood so you can love the crap out of being a mum. I'm your host, Jen Butler, and I'm an early parenting consultant and a mama of 2 busy boys. Join me as I explore all things early parenting and deliver them to you in toddler-friendly, bite-sized lessons because, let's be honest, the toddler is probably smothering pseudo-cream on the wall as we speak. I'll be dropping my hottest tips on baby and toddler sleep, feeding, boobs, behaviour, and so much more. Are you ready to find your flow in motherhood? Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you today by my free clean sleeping guide that I have on my website. You can access this baby at www.jenniferbutler.com.au. Now, guys, this guide is the first step I take parents through when I'm looking to help them improve their baby or toddler's sleep. You are literally getting free access to the first pillar of my CCC approach that I use to improve baby and toddler sleep. So head on over and download yourself a copy today. jenniferbutler.com.au/clean-sleeping. Okay, let's get into today's episode. Okay, let's talk about signs of readiness for food. So number 1, your baby is between 4 to 6 months of age. We don't want to introduce foods to babies younger than 4 months. And often I hear mums saying to me that they want to start giving food because their baby seemed keen, or they think they're hungry because they're not sleeping through the night. Your baby isn't ready to digest food prior to the age of 4 months. And in my opinion, and in my observation, lots of babies, it's actually happening that signs of readiness are happening closer to 6 months. Giving food to a baby that doesn't have the digestive enzymes to break down the food is a recipe for disaster, and it can actually cause more issues with their sleep, with their behavior, and their growth than thinking that introducing foods is going to help all of the above. So waiting for between 4 to 6 months of age, and try not to exceed, on the other hand, 6 months, because we want babies to start having complementary foods around 6 months of age so that they can begin to work towards family foods and independent eating. And because for a breastfed baby, certain nutrients such as iron are low in breast milk, and so babies need to start getting those food sources and those nutrients through food sources once they hit 6 months. Sign number 2, your baby can hold their head steady while sitting. So what this means is your baby is able to be sitting supported and be able to hold their neck high without it tucking into their chin, independent of any other support. Because you could imagine that trying to swallow when a baby has their chin tucked into their chest is really quite dangerous, and it's going to prevent them being able to swallow effectively and can in fact lead to choking. So we want babies to be able to sit up tall so that they're best able to swallow and then digest their food. Sign number 3, your baby is eyeing or reaching for your food. So this might start with them just taking a little bit of interest in what you're eating and then watching the process of you putting your fork in and popping the food in your mouth and chewing. And they're learning. And so as a side note to all of this is making sure that your baby's present at your meal times is key for them actually understanding the whole process of learning how to eat. When your baby gets to the point that they are trying to reach out and grab your sandwich off your hands, that is a surefire sign that they are ready to rock and roll with food. Sign number 4. your baby opens wide at the sight of a spoon coming. So again, a great sign of readiness is if they have shown keenness and you actually go to offer them a spoonful of something that you're eating and they happily open their mouth. That is definitely a sign that they are keen to get started on food, and it would absolutely be a great time in combination with the other signs to get started on offering some foods. And last but not least, your baby is not purposefully sticking out their tongue. So this is sometimes a trickier one to observe because sometimes it's not until you try and offer food that you notice the tongue thrust reflex. So this reflex is literally, as the name says, when something's put in their mouth, your baby will naturally poke their tongue out as a reflex. And so you can imagine that if you're trying to offer food, what this is going to look like is them perhaps taking it in their mouth and then just poking out their tongue and spitting out the food. If your baby's doing this, then chances are they aren't quite ready to start on food. So now's a good time to just delay it until you're starting to see a nice combination of the other signs that I've spoken about. Anyway, I hope that has been useful. I would love to hear about when you started to introduce foods for your baby. So make sure you head on over to my Instagram or Facebook at Jen Butler Early Parenting and pop me a DM and tell me what you noticed your baby doing prior to starting on food. Anyway, that's it from me today. I'll be back here with a new episode next week. So can't wait to join you then. See ya. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please head on over to your podcast streaming app, whether that's Apple or Spotify, and leave me a review. I want this podcast to get to as many ears as possible so that other mums who might be having the same questions as you can find a little bit of information to help their parenting journey along. And you know what? While you're over there leaving a review, please feel free to subscribe so you don't miss a single one of my episodes. And don't forget to hit me up on my socials, Facebook and Instagram at Jen Butler Early Parenting. Can't wait to bring you your next episode. I'll see you back here again then.